Painted Tears, A Beauty and the Beast Adaptation, Chapter 7, A Tour of the House. Stella slept in that morning. She was so tired from making her dinner, so she kept sleeping until she heard that familiar Cockney voice say, "Hey there, Sleeping Beauty, wake up." Stella turned around in bed and gave a soft moan. "Hey, princess, wake up, or do I have to kiss you awake?" Stella bolted up in bed. She did not fancy being kissed in her bed without consent. Okay, I'm up," Stella chuckled. She looked up to see Harry, who was smiling down at her. "Come, breakfast is ready," he told her. Stella didn't usually like that someone would make breakfast for her, but for some reason when Harry did it, it was more satisfying and nice. Stella got out of bed and stretched. She and Harry got out of the bedroom and went down the hall. When they reached the dining room, they saw Monty and Marty eating pancakes. There was a plate with two of them in front of an empty chair. "Is this for me?" Stella asked as she sat down. "Oh no, that's mine. You're the next one along," Harry told her. She sat down on the other seat and Harry sat next to her. "How did you sleep?" Monty asked her before Stella had popped her food in her mouth. "I slept well," she said before eating. After breakfast, Stella went to find a shower. Harry guided her to a bathroom, and when Stella opened the door, she was amazed when she saw how big it was. Once Stella had gotten undressed and had stepped into the shower, she started singing "A Thousand Years" by Christina Perri. Harry had walked past the bathroom when he heard her. He pressed his ear to the door and his jaw dropped in amazement. He had never heard such a beautiful singing voice since his mother used to sing to him when he was a boy. "Crikey," he muttered. "What a beauty." He felt something warm in his face and realized he was blushing bright red. Master, are you alright?" he heard Monty's voice from behind. Harry quickly waved his hand near his face to try and get rid of the blush. He suddenly felt very flustered. Yeah, I'm fine. What do you want?" Monty suddenly gave a sly smirk. "If I didn't know better, I'd say you were listening to Stella singing." Monty suddenly gave a cheeky giggle. No, I wasn't," Harry protested. He then backed away. "I have to go," he said urgently before running in an opposite direction of Monty. Harry rushed into his bedroom. He looked at the blue rose. He sighed. "I have to pull myself together. I can't make my feelings towards Stella too obvious. The spell won't work otherwise," Harry muttered to himself. Harry went into a dark corner and took a deep breath. "I need some time away from Stella to not make my feelings too obvious." Meanwhile, 3 minutes later, Stella got out of the shower and headed to her bedroom with a towel wrapped around her. She found some clothes on the bed with a note that said, "Some spare clothes for you, m'lady. Love, Harry." Stella chuckled and started to get dressed. Stella went downstairs and ran into Jack the strong man. "Hey Jack, you know where Harry is?" she asked. Jack shrugged. "I think he's in his room. Margaret told me he was embarrassed about something." Stella tilted her head to the side in confusion. "Embarrassed? About what?" Jack shrugged again. "He's always been like that, keeping to himself from others." That afternoon, in Buckingham Palace, Lorna ate her lunch and decided to turn on the TV. Jeremiah was out and about, and goodness knows where the other residents were. She clicked through the channels and checked her watch. It was that time. It was time to visit the monster who had taken her sister. Lorna got up quickly and went to put on her coat. She then got on her motorbike and put on her helmet before riding off. She rode through the forest until she stopped at the circus house. Lorna got off the bike, went up to the front door and knocked on it. She expected the clown creature to open the door, but instead Stella opened it. "Stella!" Lorna cried, and the two girls embraced when they saw each other. Once they pulled back, Lorna asked, "How are you able to stay alive here? And how have you been?" Stella chuckled at the question. "Harry hasn't been threatening me that badly. He treats me better, if anything." Lorna was confused. "Harry? That monster has a name?" Stella frowned at Lorna's remark. "Yes, he has a name. And he's not a monster," she remarked. Lorna pulled a face. "How? He kidnapped me, and then you took my place, and even then he forced me to visit you here every day." Stella looked down. "I know. But he really isn't that bad when you get to know him. Anyway, come in." Stella gestured to go into the house, and she did so. "Harry?" Stella called out. Lorna was nervous about seeing the clown again. She didn't quite believe that he hadn't hurt Stella. Suddenly, she heard a voice say, "Ah, a new guest! What a surprise!" Lorna and Stella saw Monty, Marty, and Jack the strong man come over and greet Lorna. "Who's this pretty lady?" Marty asked flirtatiously. Monty grabbed Marty's arm. "Oh my God, Marty! You can't just flirt with the random women you don't even know." Stella giggled and Jack spoke up. "Come, let's give this girl a tour of the house." Marty and Monty stopped their arguing and nodded in agreement. Lorna, Stella, and the circus performers went through the halls. They stopped at the big top room where all the shows took place. Then they wandered through the halls, and Monty told the two sisters about when the house was built and the history of when it was passed down from generation to generation. Stella suddenly spotted a room she had never seen before. She tapped Lorna to get her attention and whispered, "Look," before pointing at the door. "Shall we go in?" Lorna whispered back. Stella wasn't sure at first, but then she said, "Okay." Stella and Lorna entered the room. It was dark and dusty, with a large bed. "It must be Harry's room," Stella thought. She saw a picture frame of a man wearing a blue circus outfit and a black top hat. His skin was tanned and he had a beard. Skella then noticed his eyes, bright yellow, just like Harry's. Skella's attention was then drawn to a glowing blue rose inside a glass dome on a little table. Meanwhile, Harry was watching all this in the dark corner of his room. He suddenly panicked. What if Skella found out his secret? He had to do something. So before the two girls could touch the rose, Harry leaped out from the corner and shouted, "What are you doing here?" Skella was shocked. She had never seen Harry this angry and scared. I just... But Lorna went in front of her. "Listen here, freak! You have nowhere to shout at us!" Harry roared at Lorna, and she grabbed Skella's arm and ran out of the room. Then he looked back at the rose and at himself in the mirror. He groaned when he realized what he'd done. Then he decided to go after the two girls. "Where are we going?" Skella asked, trying to pull away from Lorna's grip, but failing. "We're getting out of here! We're not staying with this freak any longer!" Lorna said firmly. She heard the second performers call out to them, but they left the castle. Meanwhile, Harry walked through the halls and towards the front area where the entrance was. "Skella White, I'm sorry, But they were already gone. "What happened?" Harry asked the performers. They looked at each other and shrugged. Harry looked up at the entrance. "They ain't safe in the woods at night," he muttered before he ran to the front door and out of the house.